Well, I guess the first question is, how do you feel? How do both of you feel?
Francia?
Nervous right now. Yeah, but I feel good. I'm happy. Yeah, I'm in a good place.
Yeah, I think we were a little nervous. I think it was a very intimate thing.
Yeah.
And it was just, luckily, thankfully, between us for a while, so it's a little, yeah, weird.
Yeah, it's nerve-wracking a little bit.
It's a bit weird.
Yeah.
We're happy to be here.
Feels strange to be telling the world this private story.
A little bit, yeah. And then I think the question of figuring out, you know, what that means, that we all obviously went through that, and I know I've kind of lived my life in a position where people have seen a lot of it, but this is something that's important. You know, this isn't something that's easy to talk about. Hopefully it's impactful, because what we experienced, we really hoped that it would be something that obviously saved my life, but also just to help other people too, because that's clearly why I feel like I have the platform on YouTube that we have.
Well, let's go back a little bit. Tell me how did this idea first come up? You two are best friends.
Yeah.
You knew, Francia, that Selena had been struggling with lupus.
Yeah.
Whose idea was it about the kidney?
Mine. We were living together at the time. Coincidentally, I was in transition, and I left to film in February, and when I came back, I had already put my suitcases in there, and I was like, okay, I'm about to look for a place, and something in my heart told me not to look yet. You know, I felt God being like, just wait, and I actually told her that, and she goes, well, I like having you here, you know, let's just wait it out a bit, and I didn't understand why, because I was so ready to just live on my own, and one day she came home, and she was emotional. I hadn't asked anything. I knew that she hadn't been feeling well, but I know her, and I know that, you know, we both, when we get a certain way, just let us be. And she couldn't open a water bottle one day, and she chucked it and just started crying. And I said, what's wrong? And that's when she told me. And she goes, I don't know what to do. The list is 7 to 10 years long. And it just vomited out of me. I was like, of course I'll get tested. And she didn't want me to do it. She goes, I can't. You have so much going on in your life right now, and there's a lot of downtime. And I felt a lot of peace about it, and there was like no question. I was like, I'm going to get tested. You're my sister, of course. And so I called her assistant and I said, give me the information. I want to do this.
So when Francia called you, Selena, and said, I got tested and I'm a match, then what happened?
I definitely remember. I remember you wanted it to be a surprise, and somebody ruined it for you. So I'm sorry.
This is what happened. But you know what? I think it's a beautiful story still, because you know, I volunteered, but you don't really know what you're getting yourself into, and it's scary. You know, they make you take a 2-hour course to kind of educate you on what giving up a kidney means for your life, and so it was just a scary process, learning everything. And I remember telling the nurses, like, okay, I'm going to find out first. And the donors always find out first. And they said, yes. I said, great. How much time do I have to make a decision? And they said, as long as you want. I was like, I just want to pray about it. I just want to talk to my pastor about it. I just want to feel that peace. So that was like my thing. But I know that in the back of my mind, I would have been like, God, I need a sign. I need something. And so she called me and said, hey, we're a match. And I was like, why are you telling me this? But in my heart, immediately I felt God being like, this is the affirmation that you needed and you wanted from me. So then I knew, I got even more peace that this was something I was supposed to do. But I did have a surprise, and I made her pretend that she didn't know anything. I said, we're an actor, we're acting right now, this is a scene.
Very dramatic.
Yeah, very dramatic. So I was like, I'm walking in, I had a case that I had engraved. It looked like a Bible. And on top of it, I had a quote that she gave me when we first started becoming friends, and it says, a sister's a forever friend. So I had that engraved, and then inside I had a kidney bean in there, and that was my way of telling her, yeah, that we were a match.
I was very happy. I didn't know.
So, tell me a little bit about the process, because I think one of the reasons why it's important that we're talking is because there are a lot of people who wish they had a match,
right.
And there's a huge effort to have people donate if they can, and that is an incredible gift to give, whatever the circumstances, whether to a friend or to a stranger.
Right.
So what was your process? What did you have to go through?
It's a lot of testing. you basically have to make sure, and the doctors make sure, that you're not just physically healthy, but mentally and emotionally healthy, because it is a very emotional process. Lots of blood work. I remember the first time that I went in, they took like 30 vials of blood. And I'm just sitting there. I mean, I don't think my blood was even flowing anymore. It was so much. CT scans, X-rays, yeah, sugar drinks that I don't drink sugar, but they wanted to test your blood having fast for 12 hours, and then after you've had sugar, because diabetes is a risk, and that runs in my family. So it was a whole process, but with our situation, because we were kind of an emergency situation, I did everything in like a day. And usually the process takes like 6 months. You feel like,
I mean, because people, you know, the notion of all of that private struggle and sadness is so in contrast to this beautiful, vibrant, successful superstar that the whole world saw.
Yeah, maybe. But I'm also kind of honest with where I am. As much as I want to be, I'm willing to share what I want to share. But at the end of the day, I have the exact same pressure of everyday stuff. But I never viewed myself as that. I think that's when it gets dangerous. I never viewed myself as anything other than who I am. And I am very aware I have a platform. I've always tried my hardest to use that for positive, and in a way, that platform has saved me from myself a lot, because I wouldn't want anybody to experience what I've experienced. I wouldn't want anybody to hurt or understand or feel alone. And I get it. I'm constantly on things. I'm distracted by the world and the ways of the world, my generation. I think it's very difficult to be living in my time right now with our girls our age. It's really hard, and I've always just wanted to exude and show people that I'm not unattainable. You're not looking at someone that's, oh, you've got everything. That's not the case. I love what I do. I work really hard. I have worked really hard. But at the end of the day, I'm a person, and if I could let people know that they're looking at things that sometimes aren't real, they need to understand that they're beautiful, they're real, they're going through things, and it's completely okay. That's why I'm so fortunate that it was one of my best friends that I got to experience this with. And we actually met somebody shortly after that you're close with who had a transplant too, and then you just have this whole new perspective on people that go through something. A stranger giving somebody else a kidney is even amplified, because there are people who are so good that they want to help somebody, and that's so beautiful and rare, and people need things. Nobody's aware of half the things that doctors and, you know, lupus or cancer or, you know, a kidney transplant, an organ, heart transplant, all these things. I don't think people are aware of how much that's in need. And there are simple things you can do, like even just donating blood, or maybe just being aware, talking about it, putting on your license and accepting, maybe I do want to be a donor to when I don't need my body anymore. That's a big deal, but I'm just saying there are things that you can do, and I think that's something that's important. I think people should be aware of that too. And I don't know, I think that's...
Yeah, it's definitely a rewarding experience, especially because a few weeks afterwards, you know, my friend called me and she said, hey, I heard about what you did. My boyfriend's doing it tomorrow, anonymously. He didn't know who he was giving it to, and I was like, wow.
So cool.
Yeah, let me talk to him, because I know exactly how this feels. And a lot of information that I had given him, we were so lucky. We have amazing, amazing doctors, and half the stuff I told him, he didn't know.
Did you ever, in your hardest moment, think, why did I do this?
No, I never regretted it at all. I'm actually really honored and grateful that I was able to do that for her. And, you know, sometimes I even look at her and I'm like, wait, so I did that? Like, it's just weird. And, you know, she tells me, like, you saved my life. And it's just hard to process, because to me, like, I love her so much. She's my sister. It's like, it wasn't even a question, never a regret. I think just the recovery was just hard. But again, I'm going to bring up God again, because he's awesome. Like, had him just help me through that.
There is something really profound about a friendship, but now there's this physical connection.
Yeah.
Something that was in you, Francia, is now in you, Selena. You ever let yourself think about that?
So weird.
It is weird. I do, yes. And you know, There are a lot of, so because I went through that process, you know, I think as a woman, especially now, there is the physicality of it, and I actually have a little bit of a protrusion that will be there forever, and that means I kind of have to dress differently and be aware of it a little more, and it was really, really massive at first. I ended up having to get it drained because it was just, it had got, my body went through so much. But it was weird, you know, it was just kind of like, I would laugh because we would think, okay, that's insane. That's happening. I have
like that was
part of your body.
It's still so weird.
It is weird.